Okay, I'm gonna get it all on the table right now. I have been wanting to do this live stuff for a long time, but the nerves got to me and I'm just like, ah! So I'm finally doing it, and you're gonna hear Chief, and actually he's like really excited. So I'm gonna grab him and hold him. Hold on 1 second. So this is Chief. He's my little baby, and he gets all kinds of excited. So yeah, so today I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things. I wanted to talk about what is yoga, why choose yoga over other things, and why it's so important to build a strong foundation. So coming back to what is yoga, and feel free if you have any comments, go ahead and comment and I can answer your questions. Hopefully I'll be able to see them. But so what is yoga? So yoga is a system that is thousands and thousands of years old, and depending on where you find your information will tell you how long it's been around. But it is a full holistic system that brings together the body, the physical body, the mental body, and the emotional body, the spirit. It brings together all of this, which is what the meaning of the word is. Yoga is a Sanskrit word that means union or to yoke. And so it brings all these together. So you'll see that it isn't, we kind of in this Western culture kind of think of it as just the physical practice of yoga. And yes, the asana, the physical practice, is awesome. And it is certainly a gateway to the rest of yoga as a whole. And it is literally 1/8 of the system that was put together in the Yoga Sutras by Patanjali. And asana is a great place to start. The physical practice is the perfect place to start. It's where I started. It's what I knew. My background was I was in the gym, lifting weights, teaching aerobics and stuff. So coming into yoga as a whole through the gate of the physical practice was wonderful and seamless for me. And so, so why yoga over anything else? Well, first, let me just say right up front that yoga in itself, the physical practice of yoga, will enhance any other sport you're doing. Any other sport you're doing, yoga is going to enhance those sports, whether it is physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever, because you have all of those with yoga. And so for that reason alone, if you have other sports you're doing or other activities, yoga is just going to enhance that. And why it enhances it is because it is an integrative practice. The physical practice itself works the entire body. And I like to tell this story. I already mentioned that I used to be a fitness trainer and aerobics instructor. And this was, in my 20s and 30s, many years ago. And at that time, even just the thought of doing a boy push-up kind of cracked me up. I'd be like, no, I'm not strong enough to do that. But then after I got into yoga, many, many years later and had a regular practice, I noticed one day, it's like, oh, chaturanga, which is the going from upper to lower push-up. And I was at that time doing power, so I was going up and down a few times. I was doing boy push-ups easily. And I started thinking about that and wondering why. How could I, when I was younger and lifting weights, how come I wasn't as strong as I was now? First of all, I wasn't working the core because the push-up is a core strength activity. And it's my belief that, and I've actually read some things that have confirmed this, so I feel good about that, but it's my belief that when you do yoga, you are working every single part of your body, every single position, whether that's passively or actively. So it's like not every posture you're working actively, but everything is working together to create each posture. And because of that, your body's working like a team. When you're in the gym and lifting weights, you're isolating muscles. So you're focused on one muscle group at a time. And it's just the old saying, you know, a team is stronger than an individual. And so that's my belief as to why yoga creates a stronger overall physical body. And yeah, so those are some simple reasons why it's fantastic to choose yoga over anything else. It can be as a supplement to other things. And the benefits, that's talking mostly about the physical benefits, but the mental and emotional benefits as well, because each posture is designed to allow the energy in the body to move and flow and release blockages. And so you're working your energetic body, you're opening the system up. Mentally you're focused, because it's like a moving meditation. You're focused on your breathing, you're focused on the hi Ilan, you're focused on everything that's happening in your alignment. And so Chief says hi to Ilan. So you've got more benefits than just the physical benefit with yoga. And traditionally, it's like the story goes, yoga, or the physical practice of yoga, was integrated into the system of yoga solely so meditationers could sit for hours at a time. So people were sitting in meditation and they were finding that their bodies weren't comfortable. And so they started noticing if they did twists, their digestive system would open up. If they, you know, did the forward folds and the strengthening, their body could sit in that upright meditative position for hours at a time comfortably. So that's why the physical practice of yoga actually came to be in the system. And the last thing I wanted to talk about today is why it's so important to build a strong foundation. And it's just like with anything. If you build a house, you're going to make sure you have a strong foundation underneath it so it can withstand weather and storms and anything else that's happening. You would not build a house just on the dirt. You're not going to do that. So why would you start any practice without a strong foundation? When you're learning music, you start with the scales. So you start from the bottom and work your way up. So even with yoga, it's important to start with the basics of the basics. And over the 20 years that I have been teaching yoga, I have found that this isn't really offered to yoga students. And it makes me cringe. I've gone to what they call level 1 classes or beginner yoga classes, and in my experience with the people I've worked with over 20 years, they are not beginner classes. They are not for somebody just walking in off the street that have thought about doing yoga and have never done it before. And so again, over the long time, I'm working with a lot of people, and people not in yoga studio scene, but people in the marine industry. I work with a lot of sailors and cruisers. I work with a lot of people that aren't yogis. And he's barking again. Sorry about that. The joys of living with a bird that thinks he's a dog. So it's become real important to me to make people feel comfortable and give them permission to come into my yoga space and kind of open that space up to them to not only feel safe and feel comfortable, but to teach them how to really acknowledge where they're starting from and how they can adapt and adjust their own practice and make the practice their own, whether it's practicing with me or going to another class. So I have been teaching a course in person for several years now called Yoga Foundations. It's a 6-week course, and I have decided to take that online. And so I'm going to be offering my Yoga Foundations course online, and it really talks a lot about just the basics of yoga. I really break it down, and I'm going to have another video where I talk a little bit more about that, but I just wanted to kind of mention that because it is so important to have the foundation so you can feel comfortable, so you are not intimidated going to a class, so you can walk into a class or even watch something on YouTube with confidence that you're doing it safely, you're doing it smartly, you know what to listen for in your body and what feels good and what doesn't. And we talk a lot about that in the course as well. And so, yeah, so now that my cockadoodle has stopped barking, I just want to invite you to hop on over to my website, kimhessyoga.com. And right on the front page, there's a place to get on the wait list for my Yoga Foundations course, where I'll be sending out emails with more information about it. And I'm also on Facebook and Instagram, so find me, follow me, like me, all that fun stuff, and have a wonderful, wonderful week, wonderful day. Thank you guys so much, and namaste, y'all.